Live. Uh, this is Don't Bury the Lead, and we're talking about the lead here. My name's John Zadell. I'm joined by Dom Scarcella. Dom, we're talking a little bit here off the record about the main event with Randy Orton and AJ Styles. What'd you think of this match?
I thought it was the crowd was into it as we were doing backstage there, so the crowd loved it. But I'm a little concerned about Randy Orton as a one-on-one competitor. He doesn't look like he can get it done in the ring anymore. They were using a lot of crutches in this match. It looked like more than half of this match took place outside on the floor. And while there was no interference, it looked to me like, how come Randy Orton and AJ Styles can't have a match in the ring? Randy, for a guy who outweighs AJ Styles by several dozen pounds, he doesn't do power moves anymore. It looks like he needs a lot of help to get through a one-on-one match. This wasn't a tag match with Kevin Owens. This wasn't a triple threat or a fatal four-way. This was Randy Orton having to be involved in the action the whole time. And I don't question that the crowd is behind him. I don't question that he has a great look and can get it done on the mic. I question whether he's got it in him to be a one-on-one top-tier performer anymore, though, as a wrestler.
Yeah, that's a very, very interesting take. We did not talk about this backstage.
Yeah.
And I actually
we did not talk about me bashing the guy who won the main event backstage.
And I said I thought it was a great match, and you're like, well, from my perspective, he was playing.
Well, give the counterpoint, because the crowd was hot and they liked it, and I'm not saying that Randy Orton, he looks like crap out there. I'm just saying I don't think he can put together a one-on-one match in the ring anymore at the top level. So that aside, you tell me why you like the match, and we'll ask everybody watching live hit us up in the chat, or if you're watching the recording, hit us in the comments. Am I being too harsh on them, or John, after they hear yours, are you being too easy on them? So this will be good. This is a good lead segment here.
Yeah, honestly, from my perspective, the Randy Orton greatest hits and AJ Styles greatest hits, they still bang, right?
Okay.
Hey, don't get me wrong, I get it. It's Freebird, right? They're playing Welcome to the Jungle, Guns N' Roses, I'm sure they're rolling their eyes, but play the hit. So I think they're playing the hits and they're working. And the crowd was eating it up. And there was some stuff early on I would feel like was a bit more awkward. They gave us a lot of time to build up. AJ Styles comes off of a really great performance in France, where he was able to calm the crowd down enough to pay attention to the wrestling match, which is pretty remarkable.
Yep.
And I from my perspective, Randy Orton, he did the 10 punches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The crowd loves chanting to the 10 punches, and
people love to count. You've said that many times, and the crowd has never proven you wrong.
They love to count, and it always adds up to a good match if you're doing the 10 punches. It's not like, oh man, they're doing the 10 punches again. It's like, no, do the 10 punches. And ultimately,
were there spots you liked?
There was one spot I really liked a lot.
Okay.
When they said one more time, to slam AJ Styles onto the table, and then he slammed him again onto the table.
The announce table, yes.
So they did the one more time, and he gave it the one more time. So, I liked it from a perspective of AJ Styles always is awesome. Yep. And then Randy Orton was kind of driving along with him, right? So I like the match from that perspective. Was it a 7-star match in the Tokyo Dome, Dave Meltzer style match? No. But was it probably one of the better main events we've seen in a while? Yes. So that's my hot take here.
They kept it one-on-one. There was no interference. There was no funny business. So you got to see a good match. it was two main eventers from years past, two former world champions. It was a WrestleMania 35 rematch. Wade Barrett told us on commentary. And it was in the main event. It makes it look like the King of the Ring tournament matters when you see these two guys in there. So I have no problems with the setup. I'm watching this match. The bell time is 9:40 here in Southern New Jersey. SmackDown goes off the air 9:58 to 9:59. So this bell goes off the air, and I'm thinking, if this is a clean match, these guys are going to wrestle for a long time. And then, as I'm going through, oh wow, they're on the outside less than a minute into this match. They go to commercial. We come back from commercial. They're still brawling on the outside. We finally, I think, get back in the ring for real after the second commercial. So I'm just questioning, when Sting came back to AEW, and someone like me actually tuned in for some of the clips and wanted to see, oh, wow. And then you realize, oh, he can't do much.
Yeah.
He's going through tables now and beating, and everything is on the outside. They're going into the crowd, up the ramp.
That's
every crutch possible to hide the fact that this man is 60 plus years old and isn't the Sting that you remember. I'm seeing some of that with Randy Orton, because he couldn't have been wrestling like this 15 years ago, right? 15 years ago, he did some sort of power moves. 15 years ago, he didn't have to spend half the match on the outside, constantly, side slamming a guy onto the announce table. I just don't, I worry about every now and then a match happens and it shows you a guy's flaws.
Yeah.
This match to me was full of Randy Orton's flaws.
All right. Interesting. Tom, I got to tell you, man, I maybe I'll look for it next time, but I just felt like they were doing some basic pro wrestling stuff, hanging on to their typical style of pro wrestling, and between Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and they were just playing the hits.
I loved AJ in the match.
Well, maybe
it's
that's
hard
the other,
not to love AJ.
Hang on. Maybe that's the other counterpoint here is AJ Styles has been so fantastic.
Yes.
That maybe he's hiding some of the flaws of not only Randy Orton, but, Cody Rhodes. Had a killer match with Cody Rhodes.
He did.
And
I don't know that Cody has too many flaws, although he may have other flaws. We'll get to that.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
I'm not done with the question marks.
The Riddler out here. And, I'm going to talk about something else to the lead.
Sure.
I cut my hair.
You
and
did.
I got no heat from you. Look at this. Look at this. I figured the lead would be, John, what happened to your locks?
Didn't we discuss this Saturday that you look like Jade Cargill? Because she cut her hair for Backlash?
I already had cut it by then?
Maybe.
Yes, you're right.
I had a haircut last Tuesday.
You're right. No. Now I'm burying
You look
the
good. You look you look neat and put together. I mean,
no. Now I'm burying the lead because right. We already talked about this. Okay.
Tell us in the comments, did you realize that John cut his hair?
Yeah. And
tell him how he looks. Commenters in the past have compared him to AJ Styles. That is a shoot, not a work.
That's true. Somebody said he looks like AJ Styles, and someone said he looks like a hungover AJ Styles. I was like, the latter is right. But AJ Styles, he looks great. So, anyways.
I like AJ hitting the phenomenal forearm in this one. But even that one, it looked like they were out of sorts a little bit. Randy was supposed to grab the rope to break the count.
Yeah.
But he was too far away. So as AJ's covering him, Randy Orton has to kind of slide himself over closer to the ropes. It's like, well, if you can do that, then just pop your shoulder up.
Yeah. Right. Why wouldn't he just, yeah.
Like you said, raise the shoulder. Why drag yourself so you could grab the bottom rope? So I don't hate the match, but it's one of those things where you get two main eventers in a King of the Ring main event. It's one-on-one. There's no place for them to hide. And suddenly you wonder, oh, there's no place for them to hide. And you just wonder. I don't know. We haven't seen a lot of Randy Orton one-on-one clean matches since he's been back. He's been in a lot. He's been in the triple threat for the U.S. title. He's been in the fatal four-way for the undisputed Universal title. He's been in a tag team with Kevin Owens. He's been in shorter matches than this 17-minute job here, where he didn't have to spend 8 to 9 of the 17 minutes on the outside because he doesn't wrestle in the ring anymore. So I don't know. If I'm being too harsh, tell me in the comments. Let me know. But I looked at this and went, "Oh, are we watching the downside of Randy Orton?"
Yeah, no, it's cool. I think it's a great opportunity because we're usually overtly positive, and I think we root for all the wrestlers to do well. I mean, I think
we're watching the show. We're rooting to be entertained selfishly, right? No, neither one of us turns on a wrestling program and goes like, "I hope this sucks."
Yeah, we're not Conan or Bischoff or Lydia, a bunch of other people that just shit all over the show.
Like, no, we're not like rolling in the dough here to just be mean to people. Like, I watch the show and I hope it's good.
But ultimately, Dom, we had a lot of other wrestling during this King of the Ring. Now, King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring. Is it King, Queen of the Ring? Neither here nor there. Let's go to the follow. What's the next match you want to go to?
All 6 matches were qualifiers in this tournament building up to the premium live event at the end of May.
Yeah.
There were 3 total King of the Ring qualifiers, 3 total Queen of the Ring qualifiers, and the SmackDown half. They mentioned to us that I guess the other matches will take place at WWE live events this weekend. So they didn't quite finish the whole first round. Who else is your favorite here? I threw out Jade Cargill's name because we were comparing hairstyles.
Listen,
why don't we go to Jade Cargill? Yeah,
my hair twin, Jade Cargill.
I think they saw that you went to the barber. Somehow they're keeping tabs on you. You cut your hair and they're like, Jade, get over here. You're losing the long hair.
It is pretty wild how much we have mimicked hairstyles throughout the years, Jade Cargill and I. But yeah, we have this match. I got a lot to say.
Jade Cargill, Piper Niven. It went only 5 minutes. It led off the 9 o'clock hour, which included 4 matches.
Yeah.
I like this match.
Wow.
It showed some vulnerability for Jade. Piper Niven was maybe the perfect person for her to do that with.
Yeah.
Because it's believable that Piper Niven can stand toe-to-toe with Jade's power and can deliver enough punishment where Jade's going to feel it. Like Piper Niven is at least twice the size of poor Kairi Sane, who had to take most of the beat down in the tag match at Backlash.
Dom, the opening portion of the match was so cool because it was just old school big man stuff. They're just charging, right? They're just
taking turns. Like I'm bigger than you. Like, okay, go to the ropes and hit me with the shoulder, and boom, and they both stand there. Yeah. Is that something you expected when you saw this matchup?
It's not only something that was very welcome from my perspective, but it's something I've done in the past in the indies. It's so cool to wind up and then the two people shoulder butt and then they go back and forth. And then there's like, you hit the other ropes, you do it again. And then the third time, right, there's a winner in the big charge of the Buffaloes, right?
How did they do the winner this time? Do you remember?
Oh, well, Jade overpowered.
Yes, Jade goes into the ropes, and Piper Niven tries to double cross her instead of standing there for the shoulder blocks. She goes for the lariat. Jade ducks, hits the opposite ropes, comes back, and flattens her.
Yeah.
So a perfect baby face wins the standoff. Great stuff. Piper Niven did a standing senton for a 2 count. did a scoop slam. So like Piper Niven looked like she could handle Jade. And this was really good for Jade because we don't want to see Jade in squashes.
Yeah.
We
No,
want to see Jade have to overcome the other wrestler. Jade did well for herself in the match. She hit some Sting-like splashes in the corner. This is the second time we've mentioned Sting in this thing that I have. Where when Jade does the charge into the ring, she leaps way up in the air and hits the opponent in the corners. So she hits those Sting-like splashes, which look good if you can get some hang time, and Jade can get some hang time. Chelsea Green gets involved, distracting Jade for a little bit, allowing Piper to mount a little bit of a comeback. But Jade winds up hitting the pump kick and then gets Piper Niven up for that jaded face planter with that double chicken wing and then into the face plant. Now, obviously, she doesn't hold Piper Niven there as long as she would hold, Kairi Sane or someone like that. I just keep using Kairi Sane because poor Kairi Sane has been face planted quite a few times, it seems, in the last few weeks by Jade Cargill. But it's a good match. It's a great power move on another big wrestler. She doesn't hold her there for forever, but it's a good timing. Piper goes up for her. Boom, they both go down. It looks great. Jade gets the pinfall. I write down the time marks here. The match goes 5 minutes, and when it's over, I said to myself, that felt like longer than 5 minutes. This had a lot of action, and it was entertaining. I like this match. I'm not going to say match of the night, but I like this match. I think it was what Jade needed. I think it's a good showing for Piper Niven back on SmackDown. I think
Piper
this is a
Niven
great.
really. I think Piper Niven really showed out.
Yeah, right.
She looked like $1,000,000. She actually looked like what Jade Cargill is supposed to be. And
Jade will get there as a big wrestler, as a power wrestler, right?
Yeah, and I actually have a different take on it. I thought Jade looked like shit.
Okay, I was going to ask you. You've seen Jade in AEW, so compare this match to some you've seen in AEW. This is wonderful. We've done 2 matches so far, and we're like, completely on opposite sides of analyzing things. Tell us in the comments, are we being too harsh on Jade Cargill? Are we being too easy on Jade Cargill? John, tell us, what did you think of Jade here?
Yeah, I think it's been like several years for Jade Cargill.
Okay.
And to be babysat to this point, especially she's supposed to be taking the Larry and taking a back bump, and she can't even take the back bump. I was like, man, she is just way behind anybody that's been getting these opportunities. And, she just feels like Goldberg. And this is just
not
what
in
she
a
is.
good way. You're not using that as a compliment, are you?
It's not a compliment or an insult. It's like Goldberg is an anomaly, right?
Yes.
Is he bad or good? It's like both. She's just Goldberg. She comes out, she has the theme song, she has the look, and then she gets in the ring. And if it's at least average, it's impressive.
Okay.
And I think tonight was like, it got to the point where it was eventually average, but I think she's a nightmare sometimes in the ring. And I think
it's good that this match only went 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think this is 2 times we saw her. She was completely lost in the tag title, and she's got a belt now. And I mean, it's just like, and maybe it's one of these things where in AEW it was like, we need a star, we need somebody, we need them to be in this arena. You're rooting for a person like Jade Cargill, but in the women's division in WWE, this stuff's not going to fly. Like if she's just average, it's not good enough. There's too many people vying for that position. And it's too strong a division. So,
okay, so she's maybe not where she's being pushed at the moment.
No, there's no way. I mean, it feels like she probably needed some time in NXT, and then even if I don't really know that I would want to see her like in the main event of WrestleMania or the main event of anything. The singles match was just kind of rough to watch tonight, and it's been that way for a while. So
Okay, her opponent in the second round is going to be Nia Jax. Before we get to that match, is there anything else you want to say about this one? And
no,
maybe lead in, like, what do you think Jade would do against someone like Nia Jax, who beat Naomi tonight in the first match of the night?
yeah, I mean, it's going to be a challenge for sure, and maybe they find some bit of thing, and maybe I'm being too judgmental. We talked about this earlier.
Mhm.
Maybe a lot of people liked it, and if a lot of people liked it, I need to know my role and shut my mouth. So
No. Your role is to open your mouth. Tell everybody what you think.
no, I don't. No, we want to actively root for all the wrestlers
Mhm.
to do well, and from my perspective, like Jade is just not there. So, anyways,
What did you want to see from her that you didn't yet in this match, that you're looking to see from her the next time she wrestles? The next
pretty
time she
simple
wrestles?
stuff.
Okay.
Pretty and
The fundamentals.
yes, the
Okay.
fundamentals of like she's hurt. Okay, maybe the most simple things that she's doing incorrect. It's just not taking the back bump when Piper gives her the clothesline. She's
Mhm.
not smashing the mat. She's not making it look serious. She's just like she's flopping around like a fish when it happens.
Okay.
And that's I think pretty impactful in general when you have situations like making the other opponent look good or making pro wrestling look real. Made it look like fake, you know? You gotta
Okay.
like bang the mat and make everybody impressed with the bang of the mat. Which is like another thing with the Goldberg stuff. Like he didn't take bumps great, but he unloaded on people when he had to, and he would get big cheers before he came out. So shit, who am I?
The first match of the night was Naomi versus Nia Jax. This match went 11 minutes.
Mm.
Nia Jax wins it. She hits a power bomb, then a leg drop on Naomi's back, and then the Annihilator, which is her second turnbuckle squash, drop down squash for the pinfall. This match didn't start until 8:25, so there was a lot of build up before this that we'll get to later. By the time this match starts, 8:25, and I didn't know how many matches they were going to put on yet. So to get an 11-minute opener, though, or at least first match of the night, I thought it was pretty good. Naomi looked pretty good in this match. She keeps doing that split leg moonsault,
Yeah.
which I guess is impressive from a gymnastics standpoint. It is garbage from a pro wrestling standpoint, and here's why. If you stand on the top turnbuckle and hit a moonsault, it's got way more impact than if you split leg yourself. If you split leg, it's like you're standing on the first turnbuckle. And you're doing a moonsault from the first turnbuckle. Like, do the moonsault from the top turnbuckle if you're going to do the top turnbuckle.
Do you want the prettiest moonsault?
I want any moonsault that anyone's ever done. A Tiffany Stratton, an Io Sky, a Kurt Angle, a Brock Lesnar, a Charlotte Flair.
How about an elbow drop?
Could do an elbow drop. This is the Naomi split-legged moonsault is an example of somebody doing gymnastics that not only does not enhance what they're doing from a wrestling standpoint, but takes away from it.
Yeah.
Like, she'd be better just going to the top rope and doing a moonsault.
Mm-hmm.
It would look better. It would obviously be a higher impact move. But that's just like a peccadillo that I don't like about it. Naomi wrestles pretty well. She's a good mid Carter. She's a mid Carter who's over like a top Carter.
Yeah.
So I don't mind her.
Now,
in this,
what did you think
role.
of our girl, Nia Jax?
Nia Jax's first match technically on SmackDown since being drafted and coming over. I thought Nia looked good. Nia was taking some good bumps even as the monster heel. So, Naomi got on some good shots here. The one where, she has her dazed, drapes her over the middle rope, and then as Naomi stands on the ring apron, she puts her between the legs, jumps up, and kind of like, impacts her there across the middle rope. She does that. Naomi hits a springboard enziguri. And it was a really good move by Nia. Nia was just a little bit too far away when Naomi went into it. So Nia kind of stalked over to her, and when she needed to take an extra step in, she did, and Naomi hit the enziguri perfectly side of the head. So that was good teamwork there by the two wrestlers in the ring. I like let's see. They go to the first commercial. Naomi does a dive onto the outside, but then okay, they did a dive, but then Naomi recovered and caught Nia Jax recovered, caught Naomi, did a Samoan drop onto the floor. So that was neat. Naomi doing power moves. Naomi doing the quick hitting moves that have some power involved. Nia Jax doing the big, monster heel power moves. Naomi hits a second turnbuckle Hurricane Rana for a 2.5 count. Took a little too long to set it up, but when they finally hit it, it was really cool. It was one of those things like you're wondering, what are they going to do? Like when they first started to set it up for a split second, I'm going, is Nia Jax going to power bomb her off of the second turnbuckle?
Yeah.
She's going to put her through the ring apron. She's going to put her through the middle of the ring. But then
the whole show will be canceled.
Right? Yes. Hey, this is the first match. You can't destroy the ring in the first match. You can do that in the last match and destroy the announce table with it. But good showing here. Nia Jax wins. I think it's the correct person that wins, especially when we saw the seedings and how the bracket shaped out, that Jade Cargill is now going to face Nia Jax. So this is going to be another test for Jade. And I wonder if, because she can't beat Nia Jax in 5 minutes like she beat Piper Niven. So it's going to be another step up the staircase for Jade Cargill in the second round here. She's going to have to wrestle 8 to 10 minutes with Nia Jax.
And if you're team, John here, then you would say she's going to have to do a lot better. But if you're team Dom, she's right on track, you think?
Oh no, if she's going to have a 10-minute match with somebody, she's got to do better than she did in the 5-minute match today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, from where we saw her previously, to see Jade Cargill actually take some sort of bump tonight and appear vulnerable in a wrestling match.
Instead of like the 3 moves of doom.
Yeah, well, she's going to have to appear vulnerable against Nia Jax because they can't bury Nia Jax.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't bury Piper Niven today, even though Jade had to win. They didn't bury Naomi, even though Nia had to win this match and go on to face Jade. So I'm just wondering what that big woman, that big hoss showdown is going to look like with Jade and Nia Jax. Jade's going to have to be vulnerable again. She's going to have to take more bumps and punishment. As the babyface, she's going to have to learn how to make a comeback, not just like out of nowhere win. Like, take your punishment, especially when you're in there with someone who's bigger than you. Bump well, get your offense in when you can, and make your final comeback if you're the one going over. So I'd like to see it. And I wonder, you and I have mentioned, especially you've mentioned this, that Nia Jax takes a lot of heat on the internet for maybe not being the best worker in there. Nia's going to have to call and or carry this match with Jade. So I think we're going to see Nia Jax is entering that that trusted veteran phase of her career, maybe.
Yeah.
Where maybe those past quote unquote botches against smaller wrestlers are a thing of the past. Those are not going to happen again.
Hey, and honestly, people on the internet have been trashing Nia, but screw them. We like her. Honestly, people just hate on things just to hate on them. So hell with them. I think Nia Jax has been good. Even, from your review, and I trust your opinion of the earlier match, and then from the main event in, that she had to deliver on, she did. So
Elimination Chamber, she was good. She's been a good monster heel in the clips I've seen at Raw. Mm-hmm. And her first match on SmackDown tonight was a good match.
Yeah, so to hell with them. All right, so anything else about this match, Dom?
Let's keep it moving. There's 4 more king and queen qualifiers to go. What's your favorite? Three more actually. We've done 3 so far. We've got 2 men's matches and 1 women's match to go. Where do you want to go next?
I am kind of interested in what you think about this one.
Okay.
We got Angelo Dawkins filling in for
Yes.
Bobby Lashley against Tama Tonga.
Yep.
We have like a little bit of a little talking segment before this match, and Tama Tonga has his first WWE match, and he beats Angelo Dawkins after kind of a quick flurry of action. I thought Angelo Dawkins looked pretty good. I know it's only
did too.
Yeah, and
I didn't expect that. They're a tag team. Have you seen Angelo Dawkins in a singles match before? Or
no, but I think he swam. If you're talking about sink or swim, I was like, I would like to see this guy again in singles matches. I felt like Angelo Dawkins was way over, like at least over enough to be a babyface that was going to lose, and there was a good false finish there in the middle of it. For a couple-minute match, there was like a false finish where Angelo Dawkins looked like he could have pinned Tama Tonga.
Yeah, was it the pop-up power bomb there? Yep. And then Solo Sikoa jumped up on the apron to distract Angelo Dawkins. Dawkins decked him. And then Montez Ford came off either the apron or the ring steps there with one of those flip dives onto Solo and Tonga Loa, who were out on the floor accompanying Tama Tonga. I am going to get so tongue-tied saying Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga.
Is that part of the gimmick? Is that their names are difficult to say?
I don't know. Or their names are similar enough where I'm going to confuse them. Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa.
Tama Tonga and Tama. Yeah. And Tama Loa is a complete nobody. It's insane.
Tonga Loa.
Tonga Loa. He's a complete nobody. You couldn't just make him like a.
They're saying that each of them are sons of Meng. What was he in WWE?
He was Meng.
Or was it the other
WCW?
guy?
You know, you're right. Meng was in WCW. I don't know what he was in WWF. Okay, I guess at the time it was
or the other guy. These are sons of some Samoan wrestlers, so they're second generation guys apparently. They look like they can go. Tama Tonga tonight, he hit that inverted cutter where he jumps up and just like it's kind of a cutter move for the pinfall after Dawkins got distracted. It was a 3-on-2 really with everybody on the outside. And then post-match, Solo spikes Dawkins as he had spiked Montez Ford on the floor after they recovered, which again distracted Dawkins again. So this was just to show how brutal the bloodline is, not just Tama Tonga, but the whole bloodline. This is almost a more brutal version of the bloodline without the Uso brothers and weirdly without Roman Reigns.
And without Sami Zayn.
Right,
it's like a charisma-free bloodline.
Yeah. And yet I like Solo Sikoa in this role.
Yeah. Solo's great.
I don't think I'd grade him as an A yet because I don't think he could carry, say, a main event title match or something. But I like that he's talking more. I like that he has a personality. I like that he looks the part of this big old bully. And he's got that square jaw and that scowl and that glare at people for doing this heel roll.
And the big blonde mohawk.
Yeah, right. That's almost babyface-ish, though.
Right. Blonde mohawks are babyface.
He's got to go all black with the mohawk. The blonde mohawk almost looks like he's going to do a face turn. Yeah. So I like him in this role. I wonder what happened to Bobby Lashley if it was a legit injury. They mentioned it was during training. I don't know if this is a setup. What do you think of the Pride as a possible cool foil for this iteration of the bloodline? If they're all healthy, Bobby Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford as a foil for Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa.
It feels a little bit like they're called the Pride. Is that their name?
the Pride. Yeah, like I guess a pride of lions.
It feels like it's not working, but they are all three good individually. But
Okay.
like uh, they've been like heels, they've been faces, they've been back and forth, and then you see individual matches like the lowest bottom person is Angelo Dawkins. You see him wrestle tonight, you're like, holy shit, he's good.
Yeah,
So
pretty good.
I don't know if it's a bad thing to have, but it's just like they're just a little bit lost as a group.
Yeah.
And they're definitely lost as a group. They're not really meshing well, and they're not really, but they're all good individually, and I don't think there's that big of a problem. I don't think it's that big of a problem. It's just like maybe we find different roles for them.
Well, it's the problem of babyface versus heel, right? Because a heel faction doesn't need another faction to feud with because heels are supposed to have the numbers game and bully people
Can
and
I
gang up on people. But a babyface faction needs another faction.
can I tell you maybe what the problem is?
Okay.
You can't just throw every African American on the roster together and then they're a stable.
Okay.
I think that people
That's
are
also
different than
true.
the color of their skin.
Yes, that could also be it.
Like you can't just be like, well, these are, and you kind of see it with Damage Control's version of the three Kabuki warriors or two Kabuki warriors, and then Asuka combined with them. And, maybe there's that thing where you had the Judgment Day, which has people from different parts of the
Yep.
world
The misfit.
together,
Mhm.
and they're all together not because of where they're from originally, but because they happen to mold together in the WWE roster. Maybe it makes sense with Angelo Dawkins. It's not just like, oh, throw another African American with, them and make them a stable.
That's always part of the visual, right? And it makes us question. I thought the Bobby Lashley and Street Profits thing was about getting the Street Profits early on. That alliance was about getting the Street Profits to kind of grow up and lose the frat boy image.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, be serious, guys. You're not going to climb back to the top, dancing around with your solo cups like you're, going to a pickup basketball game.
Right.
Or something, like intramural. I played intramural basketball in wherever too. So, you got to grow up. And I think that was a good thing. That I think the next step for the Pride, if they're going to stay together as a faction, is finding a faction for them to feud with. They tried Final Testament, and that worked for the short program they were in, but I think WWE correctly saw that was the end of the line for that. And so now they're even split up. Final Testament's on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
So now the question becomes, if you're going to keep this stable together, they need another stable to feud with. Maybe it's the Bloodline. I don't know. I would like to see it. I think it'd be fun if Bobby Lashley is not injured or at least recovers quickly.
Especially this iteration of the Bloodline, because it is kind of like the B team Bloodline. Because you have two
but it's
people.
Guys who are hungry. Like, these guys are going to be out there. These guys have something to prove. Roman Reigns he didn't have much to prove. Everybody else had to prove something to Roman. So this iteration of the Bloodline is guys who have something to prove. All of them, even Solo.
True.
I think it'd be cool. If Bobby Lashley is able to wrestle. So I don't know.
Bobby Lashley is kind of the glue of the whole thing together because he's awesome.
Because he's the star. He's the A-lister.
Yeah, he really is the A-lister.
Yeah.
They try to make him heel, and people kept cheering him so adamantly. I've never seen something like that where they try to turn someone heel, and they're like, no. The crowd has rejected him being a heel. They like him too much.
You noticed that pretty quickly. Like, Bobby Lashley, like, they're trying to make him a heel, and it's not working with the crowd.
Yeah.
So, not much more to say about that. I think it's a lot more of what this match was 2 minutes. It's a lot more of the extracurricular activity that happened with the Bloodline than just what we saw in this 2 minutes. But I don't know, fun match. Again, this was another one. When I finally write down the timestamp that this only lasted 2 minutes, I went, that seemed longer than 2 minutes. There was good action.
You can give us the next match here, and
I like Bianca Belair versus Candice LeRae. This match only goes 3 minutes, but it was long enough for Candice LeRae and her tag team partner, Indy Hartwell, who was on the outside, to get in a good cheap shot at Bianca Belair's left knee. Bianca Belair, she is a pro. She's selling the left knee the rest of the match and selling it well. Not just like every now and then going like, "Ow, my knee hurts," but like she's letting it affect the way that she executes her own offense, which is great. I love seeing that. You know, she may have that reputation that she comes out dancing and skipping and twirling her own extra long hair braid. It's like, okay, this is clown stuff. She can't possibly be a good wrestler. And then you watch her in the ring, and you're like, oh, she gets it. She gets just about everything. She's powerful. She's quick. She has the timing down. She gets ring psychology. She sells well. The facial expressions, selling something like the knee today. Great job by Bianca. The finish really happened here when Candice LeRae went for a springboard move, but Bianca kind of followed her into the rope, met her on the middle rope, and that's how she got her up for the kiss of death, because they had teased that Bianca was going for that move earlier, but couldn't quite get Candice LeRae up with the bad knee. So again, wonderful job of selling an injury that happens early in the match. But since Candice LeRae basically put herself on Bianca Belair's shoulders, there you go. Perfect position. Kiss of death and pinfall. Match started at 9:13, finished up by 9:16. It seems that they're casting Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell as heels here. Apparently they had started a heel turn on Raw, and now that this is their first match coming over from Raw after the draft, they are clearly going out there cheap shotting a well over baby face who happens to be a tag team champion, Bianca Belair. They're heels. Neat thing about this match also is the way it started. This match was right on the heels of Jade Cargill's win over Piper Niven. So as Jade's walking back up the ramp, they start Bianca's music. So she's first out, and the two tag champs, the two partners, meet on the entrance ramp. And it's a cool little moment there. It's like, Bianca coming out, acknowledging Jade's win. Jade telling Bianca, your turn, go get him. So it's just a neat little wrinkle they put in there. And as far as the lineup for today's show, that was a neat thing.
You think they're setting up the eventual turn on each other, Bianca and Jade?
Oh, I wonder if that was set up from the moment they put them together.
Yeah.
It's not like one of them screwed up and the other lost because we haven't gotten to that point yet where one of them accidentally cost the other one a match.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're far away from that. But I just a neat little visual there of they're a tag team, but here they are in the King of the Ring tournament, and what happens if they meet each other in the finals? That may put the tag team to the test, and it might be in a week or two.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
What if they meet in the finals of the SmackDown bracket?
Because who's going to beat Jade in a singles match?
Maybe Bianca. Whoever Bianca faces in the second round. I think it's Nia versus Jade. If Jade wins that, it's a showdown with possibly Bianca in the finals of that half of the bracket, in the SmackDown half of the bracket.
My God. That is what they're doing.
Maybe they're building to that, and this is gonna be a quick end to this tag team, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that they have both of them in there, and I think Bianca probably could take a loss, but Jade, it'd be tough to give her a loss. Based on how they're building her. But I mean, I don't know. There's so many good women in the women's division. It's like you don't need Jade to be the 15-0 person,
Right, Queen of the Ring. I don't know.
Queen of the she can't just keep winning constantly throughout her whole career. Maybe speaking of Queen of the Ring, a former King of the Ring guy, Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes. I saw the tail end of this match. I kind of liked it. What did you think about this one?
It wasn't bad. Baron Corbin back on SmackDown after spending a lot of time in NXT. And
How was the
Carmelo
crowd
Hayes.
reaction to Baron Corbin?
Um, he's not the baby face. He got a huge entrance, like the graphics and the stuff on the big screen behind him. It's like, oh my goodness, this is the world champion. So I think everybody gets the star treatment on the entrances now. I thought he looked good in the ring. Carmelo Hayes winds up winning this, and Carmelo Hayes won it not with his big flurry of high impact moves, but by just blocking a Baron Corbin. I think it was like maybe a big old clothesline, some sort of lariat attempt. He blocks it and just drops down after grabbing the back of his neck into a small package for the pinfall. So I like that kind of old school wrestling where you win a wrestling match with a wrestling hold.
A pinning maneuver in
like
a match?
A pinning maneuver, an actual grappling hold for a pinfall. And it looked pretty cool. It came after Baron Corbin rolled away from a top turnbuckle move. Like maybe Carmelo Hayes was going for the nothing but net off the top rope. So Baron rolls out of the way from that. And then he hits that Uranagi slam, that rock bottom that Rock does. The manhandle that Becky Lynch says, that side there. He hits it, but he turns Hayes into the turnbuckles for it. He basically slams him against the turnbuckles. Then picked him up for a big, what looked like a suplex, but then sort of dropped it down into what looked like a cutter. It's like, these are awesome moves by Baron Corbin, and he's only getting 2 counts. It's like, wow, this is impressive set of offense here.
Yeah.
I thought Baron Corbin looked good. He's the heel. He put over Carmelo Hayes. I thought Carmelo Hayes looked good in the sense that he didn't have to do the cookie cutter match where, he hits this thing, then he hits this thing, and then he waits for the top turn, big old leg drop onto the guy who's sort of staggering to his feet. Good for each of them.
Yeah. The fact that Baron Corbin gets to be back on SmackDown and be on real TV rather than NXT, that's pretty cool. And you could see he's way beyond his expiration date in the ring. As far as his body's concerned, he's looking, older. It's not that big a deal. But Carmelo Hayes gets to win. We hope the number 1 overall pick is not a bust. Does he feel like a bust to you, Tom?
Carmelo Hayes?
Yeah.
Being a big call-up from NXT? No, he feels like somebody that had done everything that he could have done in NXT. So it's either give the guy a shot on the main roster or release him.
Yeah.
So he's getting his shot on the main roster. He's athletic. I don't know that he's connecting with the crowd yet, which is important. He's no Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany Stratton is like Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Wow. I feel like, what's a good quarterback comparison?
I don't know. Somebody who just showed up and suddenly they're full of charisma and really good. Joe Burrow on the Bengals.
Yeah. Oh, Tiffany Stratton's Joe Burrow for sure.
Okay.
She's delivered like crazy, but I'm wondering.
I'm going to go to the WWE site because I just want to check something about the brackets here as we're talking. Because we did not see Tiffany Stratton.
Oh, yeah. It's a great point.
We did not see her match in the King and Queen of the thing here. I think the matches that the house show crowd gets are going to be Tiffany Stratton and the LA Knight match.
What? That's way better than SmackDown.
Right? They did 3 of the 4 first-round matches tonight. Who was not on SmackDown tonight? Yeah, let me talk to you. LA Knight.
No.
No.
Can I share your screen?
I'm just I'm not sharing the screen. I'm just checking for myself to see if I've got this correct here. I'm looking all over WWE. Just give me brackets like it's the NCAA tournament. For crying out loud.
For
I
heaven's
just
sake.
want the brackets. It's like I'm suddenly an old person trying to use a computer. I can't find the brackets on the WWE website. I just want the brackets. Where are the brackets? No, just show me the brackets. I don't want the individual. I want the brackets. Whatever. We didn't get LA Knight. We didn't get Tiffany Stratton.
We didn't get L. Oh, that's our two favorites too. L.
Right?
A. Knight and Tiffany Stratton's insane.
You and I got to get to a house show this weekend.
Yeah, are they in Cleveland? Where are they? Pittsburgh? Where are they at? We gotta go.
Tonight it was Wilkes-Barre. I don't know where they. I think next week SmackDown in Jacksonville.
Oh, really?
AEW's backyard.
Wow, Tony Khan.
They announced that.
Wow.
I think we're out of matches on this show. Do you want to talk about the opening segment here? Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul get introduced by Nick Aldis.
Wow, I did not see this, so maybe you can take the lead.
Sure, Nick Aldis says, Cody Rhodes, you want to be a fighting champion? We need an opponent for you for King of the Ring. And he calls out Logan Paul. It's going to be champion versus champion. Logan Paul does the, it's now the Logan Paul Levesque era. So, there we go. Logan Paul doing his heel work. They're making it all about him, which he's supposed to. They seem to be able to hang on the mic with each other. Cody Rhodes is doing the babyface thing where it's not his ring. He's doing like we're a team thing about the WWE, and they're all a team, and yeah, we're a team. Da, 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 da. Cody Rhodes has been champion for slightly less than 5 weeks, and I'm almost tired of him already.
Whoa. What happened?
We're a team here in the WWE. Shut up! Come on! I know you're a baby face, but
we knew.
I don't want that kind of title reign where he's gonna. I don't want Barney the dinosaur as the champion.
Can I tell you, Tom? I told you the second that Roman Reigns drops the title, it's going to be a nightmare. And here we are talking about like WWE synergy and like corporate leadership. It's like, wait, what? We're talking. It's like they talk to the. It's like they're talking to the investors of the company when they're shooting the promos. It's like, no, it's not supposed to be to the investors. It's supposed to be to the people, and the people do not care about like we're a family. That shit's dumb.
No, and you don't have to be that kind of baby face. I mean, LA Knight has proven that you can just be a pro wrestler.
Hey,
aggressive.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes. Like so many of these guys as baby faces were fine. I like Cody, but I'm not going to be able to take much more of this whole we're a team here at the WWE. Oh, God.
It is wild. It just feels like the way that they kind of creatively book everyone. It feels like all the heels get all the heat, and then the baby faces, they're just stuck with nothing. You know, they're just stuck with not a lot to like become good baby faces.
That's been an old time pro wrestling problem, is that pro wrestling is better when the heel is on top with the belt and the baby face is chasing. There are a few exceptions to that. Hulk Hogan in the 80s was an exception, and the way they were able to do it was that they kept creating these cartoonish heel figures so like they could pretend that Hulk was the underdog. Like, there's no way he's going to beat King Kong Bundy. There's no way he's going to beat Andre the Giant. There's no way he's going to beat the Ultimate Warrior. There's no way he's going to beat Zeus. There's no way he's going to beat But typically, like Sting had a lot of title reigns, but they were always kind of short.
Mhm.
Because as great as it was to watch Sting chase the belt in NWA and WCW, once he got the belt, it was like, okay, now what? And the now what was always somebody has to turn on Sting and get the belt away from him so that they could start the chase all over again.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes, it feels like he's been champion for a while because he's gotten the champion treatment for a while. It's been almost a year and a half that we've almost pre-coronated Cody Rhodes. He's been the proto champ for 14 months, 15 months before actually winning the belt.
Yeah.
And now that he's got the belt and has nothing to chase, I want to see him as the guy who's like saying, like, okay, he gets cheered by the crowd, but hey, come get it. I'm the champ.
Mm-hmm.
You got to knock me off.
It's crazy.
Get a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah. It's crazy because, like, who's even going to go after him and who's going to be that good? I mean, Logan Paul, he can't carry that sort of gravitas, if you will. He can't, he's not the guy. It's unreasonable to be like, wow, Logan Paul is the next big heel in pro wrestling. It's like, no, he's not the guy. So who the hell else is going to chase Cody Rhodes and make it as reasonable as the Bloodline intricate, amazing story? They're tough shoes to fill, right?
They are.
But, ultimately, here we are, and we kind of predicted this a couple weeks, like a year back, when Roman Reigns vacates the title. It's gonna not feel nearly as impactful. So
it's gonna have to feel different. So I applaud that the WWE is doing something different with the Cody Rhodes title reign. I just don't want them to go into the whole, yeah, we're a team. I don't need the Pep Squad holding the WWE Universal title.
We don't. It's weird because, we don't need like Dana White and TKO to come out at the stock market thing and be like, yeah, man, we've gained so much, value with our stock, stuff like that.
Tell us in the chat, tell us in the comments, am I being too harsh on Cody Rhodes here? It was just one promo against Logan Paul. Am I reading too much into it? Am I overreacting? Should I try to be more open-minded and give Cody Rhodes more of a chance?
I got some news for you. That's going to be a video. You're cheap heat there. I think it's probably something that people aren't saying. It's like, now what? Question mark.
This really wasn't even a cheap heat. Like, this happened on the program.
Cody Rhodes' face with the title, and now what? Question mark.
Now what? And me calling him that this is the Barney the Dinosaur title reign.
Is this the Barney the Dinosaur title reign? Is this the Bluey title reign?
I'm sorry, I'm showing my age pulling out a Barney the Dinosaur reference.
Listen, we don't have Barney at the house, but we have Bluey, which is like Baby John goes crazy over Bluey.
Okay.
And it's just a cartoon of Australian dogs. But anyways, I don't want to bury the next segment here because Is
it time for us to put a bow on this?
I think it's time.
This was a long lead and follow because we got 6 matches tonight and it's King of the Ring and we had some interesting veterans to talk about. But I think it's time to and maybe that means the drive time here will go quick. It's time for the thumb drive where you and I are going to distill this show into a simple thumbs up or thumbs down. There are no ties. There are also no star ratings, no letter grades, no number grades. You are taking this course, pass, fail.
Dom, listen, we don't give star ratings. We don't give 2 stars, We don't give 5 stars. We don't give 7 stars. A variety of different stars? No, 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 no. It's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That's the only way we judge the show. We're not Dave Meltzer. Hell, we're not Jim Cornette. We're not any of these people. We go thumbs up, thumbs down, and we're going to do it right now. 3, 2, 1. Hey! 2
Nope.
thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Dom, why'd you give the show a thumbs up?
I know it sounded like I did a lot of complaining about individual angles and storylines, but the matches were entertaining. Nothing was bad. I mean, the Randy Orton thing, I'm concerned because it looks like he's using too many crutches in his matches. Cody Rhodes, I'm concerned, is going to be the Barney the Dinosaur champion. I love you, you love me, we love WWE. So, I got the belt and I love you too, whatever. So it was a decent show. I was entertained. Maybe there was so much action that the things I complained about were balanced out and then some by the things that were good about the show. So I know it sounded like I was harping too much on the negatives, but Randy Orton I have my questions about, but AJ Styles looked fantastic. Jade took a step up from where she was. She still has more to go, but like Piper Niven was great in that match. So I can't call that match bad overall. Baron Corbin looked decent on his coming back. Carmelo Hayes won with a real wrestling move. Nia Jax looks good in her debut. The Bloodline is interesting where they're going with the storyline. So there was enough good on this show that for whatever complaining I did, I'm not going to give this a thumbs down.
Yeah, I agree with your assessment.
You did a little complaining too, but like overall, what were the things that balanced out the things that we've already talked about that we maybe did not like?
I think from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., all the matches were good.
Okay.
And I think the main event was a banger. I loved the main event with AJ Styles and Randy Orton. I think just in general, the fact that we have a loosey-goosey idea of what is going to happen next with going down the King of the Ring and now the Queen of the Ring tournament style. That's just all I want. It's just like, okay, basic idea of a tournament, and then we'll follow it with wrestling. So, Dom, that's a thumb drive. We give it 2 thumbs up. Listen, we're not asking for much. We trash it a little bit. But honestly,
suddenly it's getting warm here.
It's getting humid in South Jersey, and
it's May. It's getting there.
It's cold and hot at the same time. So it's cheap and hot at the same time. Cheap heat. Dumb. Is it time for cheap heat?
I believe it is, and I'm trying to find exactly where. Come on.
Let me just go ahead and explain what cheap heat is.
Sure.
Cheap heat is where we talk about the WWE, AEW, and other wrestling topics. This is kind of our bread and butter here, where we chat about different concepts and ideas that have happened within the pro wrestling world that are trending. We make smaller videos about them and put them on YouTube. We're up to almost 600 subscribers on YouTube. I think it's at around 580 or 575. And, we're very, very, very close to being monetized on YouTube. So if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on Twitter, aka X, aka Elon's favorite social media site, come follow us on YouTube. That's our home base. We're there. We love it there. It's done pretty well for us. And let me go ahead and share the screen, and we'll talk about what's our first thing, Dom.
A little basketball here. The NBA playoffs are going on. The Cleveland Cavaliers are playing Jey Uso's entrance music. And I'm not going to play the sound for you. This comes to us from Triple H. Boosted this video on his Twitter X account here. You could see people doing the hand motions. It looks like Lyon, France out there, the way this crowd is reacting to Jey Uso's music here. This is a fantastic crossover into the sports world for WWE. DIY, apparently Tommaso Ciampa's a Boston Celtics fan. Johnny Gargano is a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. They're facing each other. WrestleZone here. This comes to us. Tommaso Ciampa is apparently threatening to turn on Johnny Gargano if the Cavaliers knock the Celtics out of the playoffs. This is the crossover we need, right?
Right.
So just a great story. I think that pro wrestling, it's mainstream. Other sports fans are having fun with this. This happened a few years ago when football teams would, I think it was with the Carolina Panthers or somebody, the Indianapolis Colts, somebody brought in Ric Flair to give pep talks. And so like he's wooing all over the place, and then the football players are wooing afterwards. And so those kind of things are neat. I love it. If Jey Uso's that over that the Cleveland Cavaliers stadium is doing his entrance music and his hand movements, and they're doing yeets all over the place. Hey, more power to him. It also shows that maybe Jey Uso is over it more than we thought.
When I went to WrestleMania, this theme song and Jey Uso was crazy over.
Okay.
I was out, getting a beer, about to come back in, and people were, once we heard the song, people were like hitting the entranceway and then doing this. Like they were just fired up because they heard, oh man, Jey Uso's coming out. And then I got to my seat and I was doing the thing. It was the biggest pop of the night for me to be there. It's so cool to go like this. There's just something about it.
The hand movements, a lot of people have their phones up with the flashlights on. It's almost Bray Wyatt, but they don't turn off all the arena lights.
It's crazy. Nobody was like holding up their light like fireflies at the time. They were just going like this.
They were just doing the hand motion. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It was great.
I believe it. I haven't been out to a live wrestling show in a long time. May have been New Jersey Championship Wrestling was the last time I got out there live. And,
the last time you were out live, you were hosting the whole damn thing.
Yeah, I was doing color commentary and play-by-play for it. So I haven't. This is great though. I think it's wonderful. And it's Celtics Cavs. The series is tied 1-1. So will Tommaso Ciampa turn on Johnny Gargano? Watch the NBA playoffs and find out. Who knows? Speaking of stuff outside of wrestling that's making its way into wrestling, Shawn Michaels formally invites Kendrick Lamar and Drake to NXT to settle their beef. I don't follow the rap music. I don't follow any music really on the radio. And they don't even use the radio anymore, right? They're all doing this online. They're doing diss tracks against each other on the social media. I don't know what's going on. These two guys are fighting. Apparently, one of them made a reference to Sweet Chin Music in his Not Like Us track. So, hey, Mr. Sweet Chin Music himself, Shawn Michaels, this one also coming to us from WrestleZone, said, why don't you come on to NXT? Kendrick Lamar, you and Drake are formally invited to settle this thing. I'm even offering my services to mediate. Do you want to see a match?
This is so WWE pilled, where they just will try to leech on to popular things that are happening.
Sure.
And I'm not mad at it at all, because you're like, Well, Drake versus Kendrick Lamar.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. Drake versus Kendrick Lamar is a thing that people are talking about for some reason. Okay, so I do know Kendrick Lamar had a
Okay.
fantastic album called Damn that was really good, and Drake is kind of your pop singer of rap music.
Okay. Is he at all related to I believe there was the Drake in Seinfeld?
Like Drake's coffee cake?
There were Drake's coffee cake, then there was the Drake. Like, was it the Drake, or am I just thinking of somebody else? I don't know. I don't know either of these guys. They're both wildly successful, more successful than I was as a in a former life when I was an indie musician. But you brought up the WWE and are they glomming onto pop culture stuff? This is pop culture coming to the WWE, though. I mean, unless the WWE paid the Cleveland Cavaliers to play Jay Uso's music. I mean, this is other people trying to grab onto the WWE for being hot and I mean, did they get Kendrick Lamar to put Sweet Chin Music into a song? This
Oh,
is
oh,
other
oh,
people. This is other
oh,
people glomming onto WWE and WWE saying, "Yeah, here we are.
okay.
Yeah,
Good point.
you want to do this? Come on, let's do it."
This is like the rap battle of the century we're having right now.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I didn't even think about that. They actually put that in the line. Yeah, they always do the pro wrestling stuff in the lines. I think in rap music, because I think it's always been pop culture references within rap music, which kind of
Okay.
made it big.
Hmm.
Whereas like rock music always went very let's just say Bob Dylan, and you kind of interpret as you'd like. And it wasn't very corporate, whereas like rap music is just like it's all corporate. To hell with it. Let's just do it. Let's just make the McDonald's of music.
Oh, the irony.
Right? Um uh-oh. We got a we got Glitch Day on SmackDown.
I saw that. Now that you have alerted it to me, yes, there was a glitch. We got that one of those glitch things, those subliminal things on the screen.
Cody Barris 678. I did not know about this. Go on, Tom.
I saw this. If it was this one was more obvious, it lasted, I guess, the better part of a second. So even I could see that. Oh, okay, they're doing something. Yeah, we
Uh-oh.
got a little glitch there. I obviously did not pause the stream and then you know, try to see what it was, but it was there long enough for me to notice it. The subliminal is getting less and less subliminal.
And Cody Barris, really appreciate it. We are
Thank
bigger
you. Yes.
on YouTube, but you're coming from Twitch, so much appreciated. Check us out on YouTube, Cody Barris. And if you have more to say, go
For
ahead
now,
and say.
tell us in the chat if you can. What did you make of the glitch? Do you like this line of angle building that the WWE is using by pretending that there's something interrupting their broadcast? Is this making you more or less interested in what this could be?
From my perspective, Tom, I love it.
Okay, good.
I like am really looking forward to the next iteration of Bray Wyatt's concept with another, wrestler. So
Hmm. And it could be his brother. It could be Bo Dallas bringing back Uncle Howdy.
yeah, I think hopefully it's Uncle Howdy, because Uncle
Something to
Howdy
it.
is very creepy and cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we need more creepy and cool in the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I like it. Let's see here. The Rock. He's got a role in the Smashing Machine, so he's posting some MMA footage. The Rock has got to learn MMA. He's a longtime MMA fan who says he once contemplated the sport. The Rock, of course, an athlete in college, a defensive lineman in football. He was really good at it. Played Division I. He's preparing to play former UFC tournament champion Mark Kerr in a movie called The Smashing Machine. The Rock on Instagram is showing himself working out. First of all, look at the Randy Orton-esque thighs on this man. He also looks like a cartoon character.
Oh yeah.
So he's learning some MMA moves here, and I wonder if this will help his wrestling if he comes back for a small run in WWE after this. Will training for MMA help him in the wrestling ring?
It is kind of funny what they're showing with him.
This is from The Rock's Instagram account.
It's not like he's lowering his level and learning how to shoot, because that'd be like insane for his body right now. He's just like, I am juiced to the gills and punching forward, which is not at all like, if you know anything about wrestling or MMA, it's like you can't just go forward.
But. Yep. I mean, I like this training though. I mean, this is more grappling. This is better. This is close combat striking and then grappling, and I like it. And if he's going to add this to his wrestling repertoire, I think it'd be really cool.
I think he looked like $1 million at WrestleMania, and I think.
And you saw him wrestle on night one, right? In the tag match.
He was by far the most impressive person I saw.
Okay, very good.
On the Saturday.
Good. Well, that bodes well for this then.
Yeah.
I like it. Very good for The Rock there. Let's jump over. Let's talk about two of the people we saw tonight in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Styles, this one's coming to us from Cinema Blend. But by the way, this one came to us from MMA Junkie and then Instagram. Here is coming soon for this first one. AJ Styles opens up about retirement plans. He's saying, especially I guess with AJ's his ring repertoire, it maybe doesn't age as well. He's practically a luchador in there. I have a 9-year-old. She gets heartbroken when I'm gone for too long. However, he noted his older sons understand the sacrifice. He was saying there's definitely a finish line somewhere in the future. Listen, I enjoy this. I really do. It's just I don't want to get to a point where I said this before. You're going, oh man, maybe it's time for him to get out. So he wants to leave while people still want more from him, rather than leaving after people have going, oh, he's on his way. He's on the downside. He's really slipping. Not as easy as you think, because as a heel, you've got to make sure everybody looks good. Yeah, this is tough for him as a heel. He's got to work extra hard to make the other guy in the ring look good. Let's see here. He received huge praise for his recent match in Backlash with Cody Rhodes. Well-deserved. He's fantastic. And they also mentioned a little bit about the AJ talking to Will Ospreay, who is in AEW, talking to him about possibly joining WWE instead. So a pretty cool, wide-ranging interview here, but interesting to hear the retirement plans. AJ is 46 years old, so he was 8 years older than Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is 38, AJ is 46. And AJ at 46 stood toe-to-toe in there with Cody Rhodes and looked every bit as athletic and agile and resilient and quick and strong as Cody Rhodes did. And he looked great again tonight against Randy Orton. So tell us in the chat, AJ Styles, do you think he's close to retirement, and is his, no pun intended, style part of why he may not be able to wrestle into his 50s like some of these other guys we've seen? That'll be interesting. Randy Orton, on the other hand, and this comes to us from Cinema Blend. Randy Orton was asked how long he'll wrestle for. He thinks he's got a lot of years left because of how he's wrestling now. He's now feeling great and hoping he can wrestle until he's at least 50. I'm not sure exactly how old Randy is, but it's apparently less than 50, and he thinks he can go until 50. Um, he didn't think that was possible under Vince McMahon, but with Triple H now in charge, he's able to get time off when he needs it because the new regime isn't focused on guys, running their dicks into the ground. Uh,
Whoa, that's
well, if you would have asked me 2 years ago, I would have thought it would have been close to the end. But I had spinal fusion a year and a half ago, and it changed the game. I've been in pain through my entire 30s. I was hurting. I was begging for time off when I was 35. I think Vince's quote to me was, "Mother Nature gets us all," with the Vince voice there. And you know that's hard to hear when you're 35 and your back hurts and you're busting your ass for this company. But I think there's been some changes, and now I think instead of pushing guys, it's a great atmosphere. It's okay. How can we make this guy last? I feel so great after my surgery. I'm a full-time guy. This is fantastic. Randy Orton was saying, if I'm hurt and I need to be off for a week, I can go tell Paul Levesque. He can tell creative, and they're like, okay, we'll write you off this week. Heal up so that you're ready for next week when we got to bring you on. So I think this is great. I think we're seeing it with other wrestlers too. Like, LA Knight wasn't on the program tonight. He's 40, maybe 41 years old. So maybe that's, it's a preemptive for some of these guys. Don't run them into the ground. Look, we've got a stacked card. We don't need LA Knight out there. So
it's pretty interesting to see people just sort of completely bury Vince, and act like Triple H is the god.
Yep.
It's just something is interesting about that, right? Where we're like, okay, why are we hating on Vince so much and loving Triple H so much? It's something feels like somebody's in their ear saying that to all the wrestlers to say that.
Are they all sucking up to the new boss?
It's weird. It's very strange.
Have they all been told, hey, put on a good corporate face when you do these interviews?
Yeah. It's gotta be because it's so overt. It's very, very, very much so like talk about how bad Vince is rather than being like, I don't want to talk about it.
They're on the other side of it, and maybe this is a both and rather than an either or. Could this be like 100% true that it was tough to work under Vince?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, let's call a spade, right? Like that must have been pretty awful.
Like even if he wasn't allegedly sexually harassing you and allegedly, taking a dump on you.
I saw, yeah, even if you weren't getting shit on, you were still getting shit on.
It may have been really tough to work for Vince McMahon, and guys are just relieved now.
Yeah.
But so then maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's something more to it, but maybe what we're seeing is also like genuine.
Yeah. Except for John Cena, who is just dug his toes into the sand and it's just like, you can't see me. And I love Vince. I don't care.
Maybe Cena gets away with that because he's not full-time in the WWE and not trying to be.
It sounds like he just was so Vince-pilled.
Yeah, like Triple H is not John Cena's boss. Whoever's producing the movie is John Cena's boss.
That's true. He just like wouldn't. He's like, no, I'm not gonna even do it because, I mean, there was a guy at the top. John Cena is definitely the guy who probably got all the favors throughout the course of his career. It's not like Undertaker saying this, right? Undertaker was also like the chosen child.
Yeah. And the Undertaker was protected later in his career when his body was breaking down. They used him sparingly. It was like from Royal Rumble till WrestleMania, they brought him out. For a few years there, his only real match was the WrestleMania match. So yeah, the Undertaker is the exception, right? And maybe Randy Orton and a lot of the other guys who were part of the rule rather than the exception.
Yeah.
They're legitimately relieved and looking forward to having a longer career now. Because there's a lot of money to be made in the modern WWE with their television deals and the Peacock deals and the licensing and, being under a very successful corporate arm. So the more years you can wrestle for them, way more lucrative this is.
Oh, for sure. One of the things is too, it is cool that they, if this is like true, like to let the guys that are veterans pay them a little bit less money, maybe, and let them work less days is a no-brainer.
To keep them around for the attraction, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From here, let's talk about people who wrestle through their injuries. Asuka.
Really?
She is getting tons of praise for the fact that she wrestled so hard and performed in the run-up to WrestleMania basically on one leg. That she had a serious injury, and she's been, since they dropped the belt, she's been out of it. No less than Nia Jax, who was on Twitter under her real name, Lena Finine. Somebody else was praising Asuka's work at WrestleMania and in the run up to WrestleMania here. It comes to us from user J Creature Lives on Twitter, saying that she was the MVP of Backlash. She really did wrestle a great match. She and Kairi Sane did a heck of a lot to put over Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Asuka took the pinfall there. She took the KOD from Bianca on top of Kairi and then got pinned. So this is and you've got people in the comments saying, I didn't even know she was injured. Like, that's when you know somebody's a real pro, right? When they're legitimately hurt and fans are like, I didn't know she was hurt. Like, apparently she was injured at WrestleMania 2, had a great match. Also has been working live events and TV every single week and paying. Like, she's been going out at the house shows as well. Brutal flights and bus rides. She gave 1,000% every night for the fans. Asuka is the best. Let's see, and maybe this is the new WWE. She deserves some time off if she's legitimately hurt. Insiders seem to think she was seriously hurt. Her fellow wrestlers are vouching for her now. She's one of my favorites. I didn't know anything about her until I started watching WWE when we started doing Don't Bury the Lead here. But she's grown on me so quickly. She's fantastic.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize this is Nia Jax kind of vouching for her, but honestly, it makes sense from the Japanese. She's always been strong style the whole time. She has never not been like she's not taking a Jade Cargill back bump tonight, which is like freaking fold your body up when you're getting the clothes. Like, no, she would take the freaking full back bump and make it look like as nasty as possible. And she's always been kind of a smaller stature, but thicker and stronger. So really,
yeah, she's well proportioned like an athlete.
Yeah, she's quite athletic, and not like athletic in a way that like she can do a bunch of flips. It looks like she's a legit badass.
Yeah.
So,
and apparently she is. She was working hurt, and one of the tougher things, and you can speak to this, is if you're actually sore or have an injury, it's not just yourself that you have to protect. You've got to go out there and protect the people you're in the ring with.
Oh, 100% for sure. That's a interesting aspect you brought up. Like,
nobody got hurt working with Asuka these last couple of months when she's been hurt. Asuka made sure everybody else walked out of that ring.
And you kind of can't show the injury, right? You can't just be like, oh man, I'm really sore. I'm going to just dog it tonight. Yeah, unless you're really injured.
It's the irony of wrestling. Like I was talking about before, how great it was to see Bianca Belair sell her knee injury. It's a work. Indy Hartwell clipped her knee. So there's Bianca Belair.
It's a work
if
and a shoot.
wrestlers are showing an injury, it's because they're not injured. But when wrestlers are really injured, they're supposed to look like they're not injured.
Right.
So here's Asuka. She's injured and she can't show it. Especially since they're heels. If they were baby faces, they could play it up like, oh, they're going after her bad knee. They were heels. They have to be invincible. They couldn't even use that in an angle.
Mhm.
So, fantastic for her there. One more injury news has comes to us from WrestleZone. Matt Cardona, real life husband of Chelsea Green.
Mhm.
He was talking about whether he's been offered contracts by some of the bigger players as he's still out there on the indie circuit. He said he has not, but buried in here was him talking about getting hurt, legitimately tearing his pec at an indie show and kind of knowing that it was hurt and still sticking around and going to the merch table and meeting fans for an hour after the injury happened before going to the hospital. And again, you're really hurt and you can't show it.
Yeah.
If you're not hurt, you can pretend to be hurt. But if you're really hurt, you have to pretend not to be hurt. He said he knew it was a torn pec as soon as it happened, and they would tell him the same in the hospital. He said sticking around was just the right thing to do for his fans. Making even one lifelong fan because of it is worth it. So he was like saying, look, there was no reason for me to go to the hospital right now. If I needed emergency surgery, it's a different story. My arm wasn't hanging off. This was something that was going to be done in a couple of days. Like if he goes to the hospital immediately, they're going to be like, yeah, you tore your pec. You want to schedule something? So he's like, I'll stick around with the fans. This is something that the indie wrestlers, like, they have to do it. They're their own promotional arm.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that from being in indie wrestling. I mean, there's no corporate marketing division doing this stuff for you. I mean, if Matt Cardona wants to sell merch and meet with fans, nobody's doing that, scheduling that for him. Nobody's selling his merch.
Matt Cardona is an interesting guy because he was Zack Ryder in the WWE, and he lived in the WWE for like a decade. Mm-hmm. So I don't think he's hurting that much for money where he had to kind of do that, but he's been getting a lot of street cred by going to the indies, and I think it was called the Indie King or Indie God, something like that.
Something like King of the Deathmatch King. Yes, he was in the WWE for 15 years. His match with Nick Gage at GCW made him a huge star overnight. This was followed by a run as the Deathmatch King, though injuries curtailed his NWA World's Heavyweight title reign. He was NWA World's Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
Like Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles, Nick Aldis, and Adam Pearce, among others.
Do you know anything about Nick Gage? I'm curious.
I do not.
Nick Gage went to my high school.
Oh.
And he's like a deathmatch guy.
Okay.
He went to jail, and he's got like a Dark Side of the Ring about him, which isn't good. But yeah, he went to my high school.
Apparently, Matt Cardona made $20,000 off of the bloody T-shirt from the Nick Cage death match. Okay. No, I don't know. Had you ever met Nick Gage? Is that his real name? Well, is that a wrestling name?
When I wrestled in high school, one of the coaches was like, one of the big stars from our would talk about Nick Gage a little bit. Be like, oh yeah, like no, I mean, like he was. It was just like it was known that he was a pro wrestler, and it was kind of like funny to him.
Okay.
But like he was a complete nobody then, and now he's like the deathmatch guy, and he went to jail, and he's like dark side of the ring guy, which is my high school kind of breeds a lot of influencers or like people that have done things. Like the other person is Grace Hellabig, which is
Okay.
a huge YouTuber. So this is just, I'm kind of
shout out to your high school, and also from your high school, you,
the Bonsall Street Bomber,
the founder of Don't Bury the Lead,
AKA John from Don't Bury the Lead.
Yes, and the Bonsall Street Bomber, longest reigning New Jersey Championship Wrestling singles title
ever
holder there. Ever. Yes.
Yeah.
So very good. Do you want to name drop the high school there for some people who may, or are we going to keep that for the paid subscribers?
Right. No.
We don't have paid subscribers. We're kidding. There's
Gateway Regional High School, which
Gateway
is
Regional High School. There you go.
Yeah, National Park, New Jersey. You must know National Park.
Yeah, it's over by the Delaware River here in
the
southern
deep
New
south.
Jersey.
It's like in deep South Jersey.
Deep South Jersey, yes.
Yeah.
It's South Jersey, but it's not down Jersey. Down Jersey is the Delaware Bay, like Cumberland County.
Yeah.
That side. That's down Jersey. We're just South Jersey.
I think we're already at the Italian goodbye.
So right, so south is north of down.
Yes.
I'll stop sharing there. That's it. That's it. It's cheap. It's heat.
It's cheap heat.
It is cheap heat. Right.
We're headed right into the Italian goodbye. I want to thank people that have been watching, specifically people from Twitch. Unreal. That's
awesome. Thank you very much.
Our first chat message from Twitch. And I just want to thank you for joining. It was so great having you in real life here. That was
fun.
That was so cool, man. Really. And that's not cheap heat. That was like, and we couldn't do the Italian goodbye like I would have liked to have done it. Because I had to drop you off, put the baby to bed. But Baby John was the third man in the booth. What'd you think about Baby John's performance?
Tell us in the chat if you saw the backlash, Don't Bury the Lead, and some of the clips that came out of it. If not, head on over to YouTube, subscribe while you're there, help us hit our next big benchmark, and go check out our coverage of Backlash, especially towards the end there when we were joined by a third analyst. It was Baby John, and he was fantastic. I believe he preferred the Bloodline to LA Knight as the best SmackDown draft pick. Because when we asked him, he did give us the one finger, and it was the correct finger too. I'm not like he's not a 1-year-old who's already flipping people the bird. He gave us the one finger, like the We the Ones. He gave us that. He was rather talkative. He was responding to some of our commentary. Maybe he disagreed. Maybe he agreed. I did not get the full translation there, but it was good to have another energetic person there with us.
And is this the third man reference? Who is the third man? Who is it?
It's a little bit of NWO, but it's also the fact that some announce booths have a third announcer now. It's not just play-by-play and color. It's play-by-play, color, and another color analyst.
I will give credit where credit's due to Triple H's creative efforts. 2-man booth is significantly better than 3-man booth.
For wrestling, it seems like it. At least the combinations they have in the WWE. It usually works that way in other sports. I will give you the exception. The New York Mets, when they're all together, Gary Cohen with former players Ron Darling and Keith Hernandez, it's considered by some people the best live television program in New York, like better than like the late night shows, quote unquote.
I
Like
saw that.
it's good stuff.
I saw. I think it was Dan Patrick and Jerry Seinfeld talking about it, and they
Mhm.
were like, "Would you rather have a Mets World Series win or break up that booth?" And they're like, "Oh, don't break up the booth." They're like, "We don't care about the World Series that much." Uh, so yeah, I, it sounds legendary, and as a Phillies fan myself, with John Kruk in the booth, it is very helpful when you have two stooges in the booth. It's just like it's tough, right? Because it's baseball.
Yeah.
It's not, there's so many games they don't matter.
Yes.
Uh, but I like the fact that the third man in the booth is a reference to who's the third man, and it's the NWO. And
It fits for wrestling as well. It works on so many levels.
who's the third man? Is that when Hogan came out and they threw trash at him? He's the third.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hogan was the third man.
that was insane.
That was.
Watching that video for real, you're like, holy hell. They had something there, right? When they're throwing the trash
Yes.
and Hogan turns on a dime after years and years of being the, take your vitamins, say your prayers guy.
Yep.
And then he was super stale. And then eventually he's like, shoots the heel promo, best heel promo ever. I think Hogan's the best.
You could make the argument that he was both the biggest baby face of all time and the biggest heel of all time.
Best heel and best baby face. His heel turn was unreal.
Yes.
So how good it was.
Could you imagine if that were in the social media era?
Oh,
Like, you want to talk about things that would have been trending on Twitter?
oh, he carried the entire company into its real life existence. And even when he wrestled The Rock as Hulkster again,
As Hollywood, yeah.
people were like, Rocky sucks. Rocky sucks. This is like 25 years of this guy being a megastar.
Yep.
Being like, yeah, he should be the champion forever.
Yep.
Crazy.
Like
Crazy.
main eventing WrestleMania in what was it? The 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s.
But
with that
even
Rock match.
Not even like a sympathy old man thing. Not that Sting was a sympathy thing, but it was a different thing then.
Mhm.
No, it was like, yeah, Hogan should be the man.
Yeah, so we could take it that way. Third man is that. It's just me. Yeah, I get excited when I think that there may be a third man joining us in the booth.
Yes. He's got a lot of testosterone too. He's definitely a man. He's
Okay.
punching around. He picks up little plastic buckets, and he slams the glass. So
We are no longer talking about Hulk Hogan.
no, he's got Hogan like tendencies.
Okay, so we're back on Baby John. Yes, who yes, he's the coordination's getting there. I remember in the green room while we were watching Backlash, I do remember him. He's learning to walk, so the legs are working well. Pretty soon you'll teach him the collar and elbow tie up, I'm sure. Now that he's got the vertical base under him. But yes, he came walking over with apparently his favorite book, and he doesn't quite know how to hand the books yet, but like he can hold it out to you and just kind of like drop it. So like I picked up on it. He's calling the match at this point.
He was the ring general for sure.
He was calling the match at this point, and I knew what he meant. He's like, hey, this is my favorite book. Let's read my book. And so like he called the match, and there we went, and we read the book. And as we're going through, it's like, again, he called the spot. It's the book taking him through the letters of the alphabet, and he called the spot on D. There's the duck. So it's like, okay, there it is. That's the high spot, the duck. D is for duck. There we go. We got it. And even after we went through more of the book, we came back to D for the duck. So yeah, I mean, I was perfectly willing to have him call the match and me follow along. I think it was a good finish. I think we put over the crowd.
Yeah, for sure. I think you put over the crowd, and we had a great time. And that's my Italian goodbye for you. It was great having you over. Picked you up from Camden, New Jersey, which
Yes, met you up at the big transportation center there.
I think Camden's a little underrated, quite frankly. I think it's got some potential, especially
It does.
driving through there. It's not crime riddled. It's just a little deserted, which is a good thing. It's like it's not. I would say,
Empty buildings, they need to be rebuilt.
which is then
Some
that big. It's not awful. Like, let's just put it like this: like, you can live there, and it could be a little bit boring, but there is some pretty good transportation around in the area.
There's the light rail. You can get the Patco over to Philly or all the way down into Collingswood, Haddonfield, into Lindenwold. You could even pick up another train from there, go to AC. You've got plenty of buses that go all over South Jersey and into Philly as well. So there's plenty of transportation. They used to have an independent league baseball team, which was
Yeah,
fun. I,
the
I
River
saw the
Sharks.
Camden River Sharks a few times. That was a lot of fun. They've got the waterfront there and the entertainment center where they do some like mid-sized concerts, kind of half outdoors, half covered. This is the time for it as we get into spring and summer.
Yeah,
So
and let
it's
me tell you something. It used to be the River Sharks. Now it's the Phillies, and the Mets that can keep that 3-man booth. The Phillies are the real deal. The number one team in the NL right now, the Philadelphia Phillies,
they've been on a
and they
tear.
mean business.
They do.
They mean business.
The pitching staff. Who is it?
Alvarado,
No,
Nola,
the starter who they
we,
converted from reliever, Ranger Suarez.
yeah, Ranger
Who won his
Suarez.
first? Is he like 5-0, 5-1, something like that?
Yeah, Ranger Suarez.
Yeah. I mean, it was supposed to be like Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola carrying the pitching staff, and like, oh, Ranger Suarez is having a great year too, and he's really mowing him down.
He's been great in the playoffs constantly as the starter, and they
Mhm.
always pull him because they think he's a bullpen guy. And no, he's a real deal. I mean, you have Bryce Harper, you've got Alec Boehm coming along too,
Yes.
and he's a cheap pickup. And then there's just
Trey Turner's on the injured list at the moment. Is that supposed to be serious?
I don't know.
Okay.
Trying to think of
I mean, Nick Castellanos in right field.
Castellanos.
He's a solid player. JT Realmuto. He's a perennial all-star.
Can I ask you a question? Nick Castellanos, is he one of your people? Italian?
Oh, he's with the last name. I wonder if he's Greek.
Oh, it's different.
Which is close. Like all of the Mediterranean Sea.
Oh yeah, seriously.
Those are like thousands and thousands of years that's the cradle of civilization, as it's called. Like the Mediterranean Sea. I mean, Italians, Greeks, some of the Spaniards, the North Africans from Egypt.
It's like Georgia to South Carolina. It's like you're really picking
yeah, and eventually, there was enough intermingling of the old pockets of nationalities that I've been mistaken for Greek before.
Yeah.
Or Turkish.
Right. It's all the same boat.
Like, this is going to sound racist, but it's already racist because it's somebody thinking I'm Turkish. But people from gas station attendants from like Pakistan and India, when I used to drive my big old Jeep, I had some that would look at me and ask me if I was Turkish. And I was like, no, my ancestors are from Italy, so the Mediterranean area, but no, it's not Turkey. So, like, there's enough intermingling in the Mediterranean Sea area. I mean, for thousands of years that, yeah, we all kind of look similar. It's the darker hair, some of the olive skin. It's
The olive skin, yeah, for
it's
sure.
the olive skin and the generally dark hair. Um, some of that is also present in Spaniards as well,
For sure.
especially in say the first millennium AD, when and early second millennium, when the Moors, or as if you know your Seinfeld
The
trivia,
moops.
the Moops, as the Moops made their way up through Spain and southern Italy, the Moops, it's the Moops.
It's so
So the
great.
Moops conquered a lot of that area of the Mediterranean. And it
Jason
actually,
Alexander, brilliant in that scene
yes,
when he's like flicking the card. Sorry,
yes.
that it says moops.
The
They're like,
correct
no.
answer is
So
Moops.
the bubble boy,
Yes, the Bubble Boy.
who's never on screen ever.
Never. No, it's perfect. It's almost like George Steinbrenner. You only see the back of his head.
Let me tell you something, Tom. It's the Italian goodbye.
Yes.
But are you ready to go, or you want to hang on for a sec? Or
Do we have any lingering live streamers with us? Any chatters? And any information that got sent to us that we neglected to respond to?
no, nothing left here. And I'm gonna go ahead and say, Tom,
It's been a great show.
it's been a great show. Thank you so much for joining. You know, we're gonna keep the ball rolling here. We have a YouTube clip coming out tonight about Darby Allin's bus crash and Logan Paul's wrestling match in his backyard. Um, we're here every Friday night after the bell. Dom, thanks so much for joining. Thank you for watching, everyone here, and have a great rest of your evening.